This video is sponsored by Sophos Home. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is Apple's biggest and best smartphone in nearly all aspects, especially with the triple lens camera system on the back. So in this video, I decided to compare the iPhone 12 Pro Max to some of the other major flagships out there, like the Google Pixel 5 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Now, I do want to preface this entire video by saying that all of this is kind of nitpicking at its finest. All of these phones take really good pictures, and it's really all pure preference. But there are some interesting things and differences that are worth pointing out that might make you lean one way or another, and so I'll give you my thoughts on what I like and what I don't like. Okay, let's jump right into some of the photos. And these are all just take your camera out, snap a picture, no editing, right out of the camera. This is what they look like. And the first thing I really noticed is that the iPhone is just kind of doing its own thing here with the sky and with the ground, or in this case, the water, and it's adding this weird blue tint or effect to everything. And you probably wouldn't notice this if you just looked at it when you took a picture and then went into the Photos app and reviewed the picture, but when you put these side by side, there is a jarring and drastic difference. I'm not exactly sure what's going on and why it's doing this, but you can see very clearly that the Pixel 5 and the Note 20 Ultra both have a much more natural looking skyline, and the water is a little bit of the right color compared to the blue that it's making it seem, or even green in this case. But again, for some strange reason, everything is just a cooler color tone on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I mean, if you really like what's going on with the sky here on the iPhone 12 Pro Max compared to the other two more natural looking color profiles, then I suppose it's fine. And again, you probably really wouldn't notice a difference until you put these photos side by side and really take a look at them. Now, in some instances, it does look as if the Note 20 Ultra is also trying to do the same thing that the iPhone is doing, but at a much smaller level. Either way, they're all good photos by definition, especially when you're looking at them separately. But when you start to put them side by side, again, this is where your preferences might start to develop. And for me personally, I would probably go towards the more natural looking Pixel 5 or the Note 20, at least for this specific style of picture. Now, portrait mode during the day, you can see here that we almost have the complete opposite going on with the iPhone, and that now it looks as if it's blowing out the highlights a bit more, raising the brightness, and the color temperature seems to be shifting more towards a warmer side compared to the other two phones, maintaining a little bit more of a bluer color tone or cooler color tone. I don't think either phone is going to an extreme this time, which is nice, but if we also take a look at the center of the image, the orange here, they're all just three different shades of orange going on, with the iPhone being more of a brighter, burnt orange, the Note 20 being a bit washed out and not nearly as bright, and then the Pixel 5 having a healthier blend of the two. I also think the Pixel 5 just produces a much sharper image in portrait mode, and maybe even overall. The problem with the Pixel this year, and something that usually was really good with the Pixel in the software, is that portrait mode has kind of bad edge detection at times. It has a problem with holes, like in the center here, there's a circle, and as you can see, the water is in the background when it really should be separated and blurred out, it's not. Or if you look at the left side of the image with the fence, there's a hole in that little chain-linked fence area, and you can see water behind it, and it's not blurred out as it should be. Both the iPhone and the Note 20, they don't suffer from this problem. Now, one last example in the daytime here, we have this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame sign. And a couple of things to point out, this was in portrait mode for the iPhone and for the other two phones as well. And again, the speakers above the sign are blurred out on the Pixel 5, probably should not have been the case like the other two phones. But the iPhone really struggled with this one. I actually couldn't get it to be recognized that we were in portrait mode and that we were 8 feet away. I had to switch to ultra wide lens and then back to the regular lens and was able to get it briefly. It took me a couple of tries, so it might not be a super fair comparison, but I kind of got it to work. Again, the main point of this picture here for me, there are the letters in the sign, and you can see here that the Pixel 5 just has much sharper letters, and overall just that area is much sharper compared to the other two images. Now, overall, during the day, in good lighting conditions, each camera system does a great job at producing fantastic photos. But like I said, there are differences that I just mentioned, and all of them, might create your own personal preference. And for me, I kind of leaned more towards the Pixel 5 and the iPhone at times. Now, all of these phones have a telephoto, ultra wide, and wide angle lens, except for the Pixel 5. It only has a it only has a wide angle and ultra wide angle lens. So we didn't focus on telephoto at all during this video. Really, with ultra wide, you saw they were sprinkled in throughout these pictures here, and there wasn't a huge difference between any of the three camera systems. They were all pretty good quality ultra wide lenses. Now moving on to low light or night mode photos, I think here we have sort of the same stuff going on, but the color temperature drastically flips at night. So photos are much warmer on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Note 20 Ultra, but the Pixel 5 maintains that even color temperature. It might actually lean towards more of the cooler tones. As you can see here with the gazebo, I think the white balance is perfect. That gazebo is very white and not nearly as yellow looking as the frame here on the iPhone 12 Pro Max picture. Now the Note 20 might be the better picture, at least in this one here, because it maintained good white balance and the shadows are not boosted as much as the Pixel 5. Case in point, if you look at the bushes in the Pixel 5 and the sky, it's being helped out a lot by software. It's kind of blowing it out, making it brighter so that you can see more at night. Now, I personally like that look in pretty much all other photos. It's not the best here, but it does give more detail to each picture and you can see more. And it really carries on the more you look at some of these night mode photos, the more I tend to prefer the look of, the Pixel 5. However, the details in the lights on the Christmas tree with the iPhone is pretty fantastic when you compare it to the other two cameras. In fact, it was the only phone that was able to capture a good tree in the background there. The other two seemed to be kind of blurry and lost a lot of detail. Overall, this picture was just really tricky in general because each phone did something better than the other. It all did one thing better than each camera system. And that's really kind of the theme of the whole video. The Note 20 has a really good camera system, probably its best by far, but it's my least favorite in pretty much all of these photo comparisons. I think I leaned heavily towards the Pixel 5 and the iPhone 12 Pro Max, simply because of the white balance and a bit more detail, at least definitely with the Pixel 5. I'm not a fan of the way the iPhone is handling these portrait mode pictures either, especially at night. In this one here, we're again blowing out the highlights of the background and cranking up not only the brightness, but it's now shifting towards that warmer color tone. It's really boosting that. And while some of you might like that it's brightening up the image, I don't think it's the correct look of what was going on. I think the other two did a better job of replicating the actual lighting going on that night. Also, there's 3 different shades of red, again, going on here with the mask, and the face area in general is just much softer in comparison to the Pixel 5. The Note 20 seems to be crushing the blacks again. This picture in general was not very good for the Note 20 in my opinion. The coat is very dark, it's not nearly as pink in the other pictures, and the iPhone is overcorrecting and doing the opposite, and it's just brightening everything up. But of course, I would love to know your thoughts. I've been giving you my thoughts on what I think. They're all just my opinions, but I would love to know your opinions in the comments down below. Which cameras did you like for these still photos more? On one quick side note, I did test out the cameras for video, specifically 4K 60 frames per second. I didn't really do too much testing on it right now, but overall, I really don't think either one of these phones kind of compare in quality and stability to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, at least during the day. At night, they all looked kind of bad, especially the Note 20. The iPhone and the Pixel were surprisingly close, but I'd probably still lean iPhone here overall with video. But again, would love to know your thoughts on all of these cameras, both in still and video, in the comments down below. Now, before we end today's video, I do want to give you more information about today's sponsor, Sophos Home. Sophos Home is security and privacy built for an entire family, regardless if they're Mac or PC users. It utilizes the same award-winning security features that keep Fortune 500 companies safe, stopping malware, ransomware, hacking exploits, and much more. Sophos Home also protects what you do online, keeping web-based banking and shopping safe and secure, protecting webcams, microphones, and even what you type. Sophos Home secures your privacy, and to make all this protection simple, Sophos Home allows you to manage security on up to 10 computers, located anywhere in the world via the cloud. It's the best way to digitally protect your family or even your neighbors. And if you want more information about Sophos Home, visit the link in the description down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.